Hey everybody, welcome to my new apartment.
My nail tech knows how to keep a little secret. I don't wish for my success, I speak it. I caught a buzz and you did too, but you tweaking. I look like I've been getting money, how reeking.
So this apartment is actually with Vonder Warsaw. They have two properties. They have one in Upriver, one in Uptown. When they initially showed me this apartment, I fell in love with it because it was just so nice. Let me show you guys a little bit of this place. I like this dining table. I think it's a pretty good size. It's not too big, it's not too small. In my previous apartment, I only had one desk to eat, to work, to do everything at. So it's nice that I have a dedicated space just for eating. If I want to do my Polish homework, if I'm doing an assignment, I have to write something, this is the perfect place to do it. Here in the living room is also really nice. I like that it's kind of in a separate area compared to the rest of the house. If you're living in a studio, usually you'll have the TV where the bed is. I don't like having the TV and the bed next to each other because I think it really disrupts your sleep. So the fact that I can have this space that is just for hanging out, relaxing, chilling, maybe looking at the view on the outside, but mainly just to play video games, this is the perfect spot for it. So over here we have the kitchen. One of the things that I was looking for in an apartment is a big kitchen. These are pretty hard to find here in Europe in general, especially because space is so limited. When I'm cooking food, I like having a lot of space to work with, so I feel like this is pretty perfect. You also have the vent here where you can turn on and off. And the air fryer is one of the best investments that I made. Having an air fryer is nice because you just put a couple of pieces of meat in there for maybe 10 to 20 minutes and you got a steak, you got chicken, you got everything you need, and it's very easy to clean up, so I highly recommend. I also like that there's a lot of storage space here, but the only problem is that they're quite tall. I'm not that very tall person, you're not a very tall person, right? So if we wanted to like get stuff and reach to the top, it'd be very difficult. But in general, I think there's pretty ample storage area. Here we have a dishwasher. I think dishes are washing right now. We have an oven that we need to use at some point. I really want to try your carrot cake, so you're gonna have to show me at some point. Here we have a washing machine. At my previous apartment, the building had shared washing machines. That was always a pain in the butt. It's not the cleanest. It's really nice having my own washing machine in the apartment. Usually you'll find these in the bathroom though. So it's kind of odd that you find it here in the kitchen. So this bathroom is not too big. I think it's the perfect size. It would have been cool if there was a tub. Something that I really like about this place is the walls. This particular marble that they used for the walls is beautiful. And I think it contrasts really well with the tan painting and the colors. You also have this like white tiles here. So the white and the, I think it's like a dark brown mixed together, provides a really cool contrast, and I think it looks very nice. One of the problems of Warsaw too is that the water here is really hard. There's a lot of calcium and minerals in it. See here on the glass, there's like all this calcium marks from the water. It makes sense to get a water filter. I have two. I have one in the shower head and I have one below, and it definitely helps with your skin. If you're not used to the water here, you're gonna have a lot of skin problems, and that seems to be pretty universal. So I like this bedroom a lot. I like how big it is. I just think that the space was used a little weirdly. You have this really big bed in the middle, and you can't really do anything else because of how the plugs are set up, so the bed has to be here. But it is very quiet, it is very peaceful. Something you're gonna notice about my windows is I have these like weird tarp looking things, and that's because, especially during the summer, the sun is up till like 9 p.m, 10 p.m, and the sun also rises extremely early, so it's important to keep it as dark as possible. So I just have these makeshift tarps to cover the windows, so in the morning it's quite dark and you can continue to sleep. These windows are actually quite nice as well. They block out most of the sound from the outside. The only problem is that during the summer, when it gets really hot, when it's like 28 degrees or 30, 32, you want to keep the window open to air out the place, or else this apartment is just a boiler. All you need is like an air conditioning or something like that. It'll help cool the apartment. I also like how there's a lot of storage area. It's not completely full. There's still a lot of like open space, but I like being able to see all of my clothes visually. It's very dangerous when you have a lot of storage space because for some reason they find a way to get filled, but that's just how it is. So this is where I spend most of my time. I love this space, and when I saw this initially, that's why I wanted this apartment. I love that there's a lot of natural light from outside, especially when you're filming content. I don't have to have like any other lights. I can just use the natural light, and that's usually good enough. I also like this wall in particular. You know, I always like to have a space where I can just film my talking head videos. The framing and everything, it just looks so classy. It also would have been cool if it was a plain wall, but doing something like this makes it way less boring and, in my opinion, quite beautiful. And I have this like lamp here that also came with the apartment that I like to have in the background of some of my videos sometimes. It's so simple, but it also looks very classy. You guys might wonder why I have this like weird carpet placed randomly. In a room like this, especially with a lot of open space, there's a lot of echo in the room. And thankfully we have these curtains that can help mitigate the sound, but putting a carpet on the ground, just something as small as this, is usually good enough to also help with the echo of the room. So one of the problems of being a content creator is the setup of everything often leads to you losing your creativity. So I really wanted to have a space where everything was set up already. I have my tripod, I have my camera equipment, everything. So all I had to do was press record. And let me show you guys the balcony. Now this, I think, is the best part of the apartment. Everything else in the apartment was already extremely nice, but the fact that it came with this balcony as well made it so much better. I like being able to just hang out, people watch. Usually if I have a friend over, we can drink or we can smoke. And it's just very enjoyable, like having a little piece of outside. And it's just the cherry on top to an already amazing apartment. This is one of the best apartments I've seen here in Warsaw. A huge shout out to Vonder. If you guys are interested in renting apartments or even purchasing apartments, I'll put Vonder's information in the pinned comment and the description down below. Thank you all, and get out of my house.